Welcome to the RockStar in Life podcast, where you learn the secrets to unleashing your inner rock star so you can make the world your stage. What's up, rock stars in life? It's Siri Shakti, and today I'm joined by my awesome co-host,
Dr. Dan.
And today's episode is...
Love your haters.
Yes.
That's a fun one to say, right?
That is.
Yep.
Because oftentimes I don't think we really, think for ourselves as like let's love our haters, right?
Nope. And it kind of ties into episode 4 we did a while back, which was love your family and choose your friends. But on that one, we focused more on, the family aspect and, and the spiritual vampires and getting rid of them all, and also, your social diet, but felt that this is definitely something that we had to dive deeper into, especially with everything that's going on, all this negativity going on, in the world right now. And it's not even, I don't even know. I don't think it's what's going on is different or new. It's just, we're more social now online.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to say. We're social. No, we're antisocial now because we're all online. So we're not socializing in person, but, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and forums, in the blog comments, under YouTube videos. I mean, everywhere there's just all this negativity going on. Yeah. And, we call them trolls. People say, don't feed the trolls, and for those of you who don't really know what a troll is, it's somebody trolling. So they're trolling for negativity. They're trying to get a rise. They're trying to bait people into just arguing and screaming. They're just in a bad mood.
Yes.
And they just want to bring other people down to their level. And that's why we call them spiritual vampires, that kind of person.
Yeah.
Whether it's online or in person and in real life, that's what they want to do, because it satiates them, because it's like their blood if they're a vampire. That's why we call them a spiritual vampire.
And you think about it, most of those people behaving in that way would never talk to people in like face to face that way, but they feel like that because there's that barrier of it being social media, being on the computer, online, they can say whatever comes out of their mouth or whatever comes out of their mind.
And you get, actually, I think they post it before it even comes out of their mind. It's skips their mind and goes straight to the keyboard and they type it in. And if you go to YouTube, and I mean, it's all over. I mean, if you go to like Reddit, which I don't go on Reddit or anything like that, but Reddit's pretty horrible when it comes to that stuff. But if you go on YouTube, I see it all the time. Just watch like somebody's interview or a video or anything, and you will find the most destructive and negative and just, appalling. If you want to ruin your day, if you're having a great day and you just want to like ruin it and like maybe even, possibly throw up in your mouth a little bit, go ahead and go to YouTube and read some comments under some popular videos and music videos or interviews or anything. I mean, something that could be like even amazing. And we're not even talking about like politics or opinionated or anything like that. I mean, you just get some crazy, horrible comments.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I definitely wanted to mention some of my favorite quotes that I've seen, because I actually have a shirt that has I love haters on it, a tank top. And some of my favorite quotes are ones that I like to remember and have in front of me to kind of read every now and then and get a chuckle. Is, if you don't have haters, you must be doing something wrong. Another one is, haters don't really hate you; they hate themselves because you're a reflection of what they wish to be.
Yeah,
which I really like. Another way of saying that is, the haters don't hate you. They hate the reflection they see in you of themselves. And that's actually more accurate. We've talked about that, I believe, on episodes, or we could talk more about that. Yeah. But another one is, this is a good one for business. Hustle until your haters ask if you're hiring.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And then another one is, I don't have haters. I have fans in denial. And I can definitely, attest to that because both those, the last two that I just said, hustle until your haters ask if you're hiring. And I don't have haters. I have fans in denial because in my business, I've had, people that have like given like really bad comments on social media in one way or another for me, or, or somewhere they left a comment that was negative. And, I came back with a sarcastic remark, but not in a negative way. More of a, hey, I'm not accepting your negative gift. If you guys remember that example I gave is, in that last one of the episodes. I don't know if it was that one. I think it was, it might've been, the, love your family, choose your friends. That might've been the one where I said, if somebody tries to hand you a gift and you say, no, thanks. And you don't even like put your hand out or even take it. If you don't accept it, whose gift is it?
Yeah.
Even if they put it on the ground right there, and then they walk away and you walk away. Well, it belonged to them.
That's right.
They left it there, and then it belongs to whoever chooses to pick it up. So they choose. So same thing goes here is don't accept that negativity. And, you can win some haters over. Like they'll be like, oh, I respect you now, or something like that. And this happens to me all the times at like seminars and events that, I would speak at or attend. And, I had somebody that was kind of hating on us, and then they would meet me and we would get to talking. I didn't even know they were hating on me. And then they told me like, oh yeah, I'm sorry I wrote that comment. And I was like, oh, which one? And then they told me, and I was like, no worries, man. They're like, yeah, I can tell, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But you know what? You're so right. Because if you look at people that are really successful, and I mean, they usually have like so many fans, but they also have the equal amount of people that can't stand them or just like to talk crap about them, even though they don't really even know the person. They don't, well,
it's a disease in a way, or a virus.
Yeah.
That spreads because, you see somebody that, just like, I'm sure everybody knows somebody, or maybe it's yourself, that you were treated very badly as a child by one of your parents, or a family member, or somebody at school that bullied you. And it's a vicious circle, and, you get bullied. So you typically take it out on somebody else. Mm-hmm. So it's just a vicious circle. So the person that's bullying at the school is more than likely they've been bullied by one of their family members or their brother or somebody like that. So then they're feeling like crap and worthless. So then they go around doing it to somebody else. It's kind of like, oh, well, somebody did it to me, so now I'm going to do it to you.
Yeah.
It's like one of those bad chain letters, like, Bill Gates. Now I think the last one I saw was like, Mark Zuckerberg, right, from Facebook, he's giving away $1 for every time you share this email with somebody or this Facebook post, and he's tracking it. I think it started out with like Bill Gates with Microsoft, and it used to be an email people would send around. I don't know if you remember that one.
I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. I know you've gotten it because everybody's gotten it, and it said on there like, oh, this email is being tracked, and every person that you send it to, you're going to make $1. So,
Oh, wait, actually, I do remember that now.
It's just a chain letter, and it's just spreading negativity. I mean, that really served no purpose other than to see if they could get people to send it out so somebody can say, I got everybody to do that.
Yeah.
Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what it is. It's like a disease. It's like a virus that goes around, and the same thing goes with negativity. Yeah. So you need to be the one to stop it. If somebody's handing around a package full of horse poop or elephant poop, and they're just handing it from one person to another, and each person's taking that poop and, taking their own little piece of poop first, and then they hand it to somebody else to get their poop. Somebody needs to cut that off at some point. Just be like, you know what? No, I'm not accepting that.
As you're talking about the horse poop, I just thought of something I'd like to add. There's times where I'm on Facebook, and I don't notice it as much on Instagram. Instagram, I feel like, is a lot more positivity, and but Facebook, I don't go on there as much now because I feel like there's quite a bit of negativity and trolls and things like that. But there's times where I will see a post or I'll read something, and I do feel very passionate about it, or there's, I see the conversations that are going on, and I want to jump in there and I want to add my 2 cents. I want to add my opinion. And I think I've done it just a handful of times. And I started to kind of, learn my lesson that the people that are on there going back and forth, no one really wants to hear what each other has to say. Everyone just wants to say their 2 cents. They just want to say what they have to say. And most of the people want to just argue back and forth. And I mean, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I've decided that for the most part, I'm not going to jump in on those conversations because I don't want to get mixed up in the drama. And I mean, I'm sure you've had experiences like that as well, where you've seen that back and forth going on. And
just about every single day, because, in my business, because it's an internet business, and we have Facebook, groups, private groups that we have to maintain. I'm on Facebook. So, obviously I'll look and see my notifications. Yes. And I've pretty much been able to, I mean, obviously stuff still gets in. So I couldn't imagine somebody that doesn't know how to really, filter out stuff in Facebook.
Yeah.
Because, I had removed, every time somebody adds you to a group, I don't know if there's a way to from removing people from being able to add you to a group. I don't remember if there's a way to do that or not. There probably is. So complicated in certain things, and I'm always finding new ways of filtering stuff out. But I remove, whenever I'm added to a group, I'll either leave it if it's not something I want to be in, or if it's a negative group, or I'll turn off notifications in that group. Yeah. You have to go into the dots at the top. I think it's 3 dots or something. You click it in settings or something, and then you say, don't notify me. Unless somebody tags you or something, then you won't see it, because, Facebook's job, and I remember hearing this interview, Facebook's job is to consume as much of your time as possible, to keep you on Facebook, which makes sense for business parts, because they want, do you think they only want you on their hour a day? No, just like television, they want you hooked on their network as long as humanly possible.
Right.
So same thing with Facebook, and and the benefit of Facebook is they send you notifications that ding on your phone or vibrate or whatever, unless you turn those off. And they're constantly saying, oh, did you see what so-and-so said? Oh, and they're not even mentioning you. And they're like, oh, so-and-so, commented. Oh, hey, here's something that happened 4 years ago. Let's celebrate. Oh, hey, you've been friends with somebody for this long. Yeah. Oh, hey, so-and-so poked you. One of them that's annoying me right now is when I get somebody that friends me or something, then I automatically get a notification in my, what is it called, in the Messenger as well, that says, oh, they're on Messenger too now. Yeah. Say hi. And I'm like, dude, seriously? So every time I accept a friend now, I'm going to have to freaking, open a chat with them. Oh, hey, we just got added as friends.
There's a notification for everything.
Yeah. They have notifications of notifications of notifications. And it's an endless loop. But, there is a way of, reducing it, which is great. But one thing I wanted to mention is Facebook, or in real life, we all need to live in harmony. We're all on this planet Earth, right? That's getting more crowded and crowded every day. We all need to respect each other's points of view, even if you don't agree with them.
Yeah.
And the important thing is to understand, if you're listening to this podcast, you're listening to this episode, there's a very good chance that you are the type of person that is aware of other people's points of views, and you're capable of respecting that, even if you don't agree with them. Right?
Yeah.
Now, don't expect those other people to feel the same way. Exactly. Because they are children. They are little baby toddlers, and they just don't, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's their awareness level. It's their, the level that they're at as far as the comprehension of other people and their feelings and their beliefs, and they're not willing to waver. They believe it's their duty to tell you, if you don't go to church and you don't believe in Jesus Christ and let in your heart, then you're going to hell. which we've actually been told by somebody's kid, right? On more than one occasion when we're told like, oh, you don't know about Jesus, right?
I'm like, actually, I love Jesus, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We're getting into a religious
conversation.
Like,
well, if you don't, if you don't go to church and you don't do these certain things, then you're going to hell, right?
Yeah.
And, whether we're talking about religion or, politics or, abortion or any of those other topics, a lot of them are like, look, this is how it is. And this is how this is the truth. And if you don't believe my way, then you're going to hell or I don't, believe you're, worthy of anything. Right. Yeah. And the only thing you can do is respect their own opinion, their own beliefs, not agree with them, but don't argue with them.
Yeah.
And don't expect them to agree with you and give you the same courtesy.
Yeah.
Right. It's like somebody that flips you off while you're driving by. You don't pull over and start trying to convince them that they shouldn't be flipping you off.
And you know what happens when you try to argue with someone and convince them? They dig their heels in even more because they feel like they're wrong, And for people that have those strong convictions like that, especially when it comes to like religious point of views and political, oh boy, you really have to take a different stance because we've seen it. We see it every day, right?
Every day.
On social media, on the news, everything that's going on right now in this country and all around the world. Everyone's fighting with each other and trying to force their opinion, and it gets nowhere. We have to finally wake up and realize that forcing each other and pushing our opinions on each other, it doesn't get very far. I'm not saying you sit down and take a passive role. That's different, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. You still need to stand up for what's right.
Yes.
You just don't need to argue with the wrong people that don't matter and aren't the decision makers anyways. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to get into something controversial, like, oh, well, gun laws in the US and stuff. I mean, that's huge on Facebook right now. I mean, people are just like going at each other and they're like, having stricter gun laws won't work and this won't work and that won't work, and it's like, everybody's trying to convince each other like, oh, point out this rifle. Do you know which one an assault rifle is? Do you know which one's not? What about the amendment? What about this? What about that? My rights and all these other things. You know what? All we know is that whatever we're doing isn't working right now. So when somebody says like, oh, it's not a gun thing, it's, it's a mental health thing. Well, it can be more than one thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. All we know is whatever we're doing isn't working. So stop arguing about what's not working and do something.
Yeah.
Do something. Do something different and continue to do something different until it's fixed. And it might take 6 months, a year, 10 years from now, because we didn't just wake up into this problem that we have right now. Right.
No, it's
going to take time.
Compiled.
It's going to take time to unfuck the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that. I mean, I got a t-shirt that says that, right?
Yeah, you do.
And we need to, right?
Yeah.
We need to. And, whether that's going to be you out there, doing a peaceful protest or a peaceful march for peace, right?
Yeah.
An anti-protest, or what do they call that? What did you say?
I just said, yeah.
No. What was that called? The anti, I won't attend an anti-war, but I will attend a
peace rally?
Something like that.
Okay.
If it comes back to you, then you can say it. Because I remember hearing that from somebody saying like, I won't like attend a anti anything.
Oh, it was Mother Teresa.
Okay.
They were talking to Mother Teresa, and she said she will not. She won't go to like an anti-war or anything like that. She'll go to, like
pro-peace.
Pro-peace.
Yeah,
yes.
Pro-peace. Pro-peace.
Yeah.
That sounded weird when I said it. Pro-peace.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that
march and stuff like that.
It just sounded weird when you said it. That's okay.
Yeah, it did. It sounded like a candy or something like that.
Yeah, and for those of us, if we can just step back and realize that, like you were saying, Dan, we have more than 7 billion people on this planet. This planet is very, very populated, and we have to learn how to live together. And there's so much going on right now that there is this thick layer of concern and fear that is bubbling on the surface, and a lot of people are trying to avoid it through, whatever means possible that they do in their daily life to avoid it.
Yeah, they're trying to distract themselves.
Yeah. But
whether it be TV, drugs, or alcohol, which is drugs as well. Yeah.
Yep. And so here we have social media, which is a perfect platform for this feeling of freedom to just let off some steam, right? And that's where we get the people who just express whatever it is that they want. And for people that are really frustrated, they're going to, let out that or be in that role of the troll like we're talking about.
Yeah, they're going to kick their feet. They're going to stomp their feet. That's what I said. They're children.
Yeah.
And you need to understand that. You don't tell them like, oh, you're a child.
No.
Right? Because then you're doing the same thing. Yeah. And you just tell yourself that when you see them stomping their little feet. Mm-hmm. And just remember that. I mean, man, if you think of it as a child, I don't know if you've raised a child and they don't want to eat their vegetables or they don't want to eat the food you gave them, or they tore their diaper off and threw it on the ground, and it had poop in it or something, right? You can sit there and try and talk to this 1-year-old or, however many months old that is, and they're just going to look at you and they might giggle or they might continue crying. But do you expect the next time that, it comes around that you're gonna be like, oh, I told you last time, don't do this. No. Right.
Right.
So don't expect them to be any different, because and it actually helps sometimes for me when I see them trolling and just trying to spread their hate, and I just kind of giggle. I have to catch myself sometimes. Sometimes I let it feel a little bit like, I just want to attack as well, because maybe I'm in a mood, but I just kind of take a step back, and I just remember that they're a little child kicking their little feet and holding their breath and saying I'm going to hold my breath until you give me what I want, because I don't want to go to bed. Right. I want to keep playing my toys.
Well, I know for me, it's definitely been a test in my own self-control, because, oh my gosh, there's sometimes some things that I see that really just upset me, and I want to get in there and just be part of it, and just hash it out and say what I want to say. I'm like, okay, I'm going to, hold myself back from doing that. And I think another thing that goes hand in hand with that is, to some degree, depending on who you are and how sensitive you are to things like this, you have to also know how to protect yourself on social media and protect your children on social media. I know our kids have their own YouTube channels, and there was our oldest daughter, I remember a year or 2 years ago or something like that, I went on there and there was this jerk, this guy who had said some really mean things. Now, thankfully,
some racist stuff too.
Oh, it was just awful. And, she was just, oh my gosh, sweetest little thing on there. And we were monitoring her account, so we were the ones that found it. And what did you do? Did we block it or?
Yeah, I ended up blocking. Now, YouTube's a little bit more difficult because anybody can create another account and they can have it under any name they want. So yeah. Unfortunately, that's why I was saying, people get really negative on there because of that, way more than even Facebook. Because on Facebook, they make it a little bit more difficult to open, multiple accounts. And, if you get banned, then sometimes they can ban an IP or something like that. Whereas with YouTube, usually takes a little bit more. But we ended up deleting them. I notified Facebook YouTube about it as well. Yeah. And I just said, hey, this person's spreading some hateful stuff on here and harassment and bullying.
Yeah. And if you think about it, this is so new, this the cyberbullying, this is a new thing that the young generation is having to deal with, that our generation didn't have to deal with.
Yeah.
And, and I think as parents, we're still trying to figure out what is the best way of protecting them from that and teaching them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's teaching them. It would be like saying, well, what do you do if your kid falls out of a little boat? right? Oh, they're going to drown. And, imagine like you're telling them, like, you're trying to teach them like all these like ways of avoiding of falling out of the boat, which is great. But you want to teach them how to swim.
Ooh, that's good.
Because no matter what you teach them, there's still the chance they're going to fall in. And wouldn't you rather them know how to swim in case they fall in?
Yeah.
Which, at some point in their life, they're going to end up in water more than likely at some point. And that's going to come in handy. So teach them how to swim. And again, it's teaching them everything we just taught you, right? Whether it be they listen to this episode or, these are things that we're teaching our kids, and we're constantly talking to them about it because, we're open with our children and we don't hold anything back. And
that's right.
And we teach them the things so they can be better prepared for this world, because we had to kind of stumble around like, what's that saying? Like a blind man in an orgy. We had to like poke our way around.
Wow.
Caught you off guard.
That was a good one. Yeah. Now I have this image.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't take credit for that. I got that from Playboy magazine or something for the articles.
Yes. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah. You're welcome. But one thing I will mention is when you move forward and have more success, the more you push forward, and I can attest this, man, this has happened to me so much, and it's happening right now. In the last 2 months, it's been insane, the amount of negativity and pushback, we call it, that's been coming in to my professional and business and personal life. And, this is called, what was this, like Newton's
third
law, which is, what was it called again?
For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah. The Newton's third law of motion. And there's lots of examples that you can find online. And, one of the examples I like is, a bird. So when a bird is, in the air and they're flapping their wings, the bird is pushing its resistance right from their wingspan. It's hitting the air. Well, when it does that and the bird is either going up or whatever angle they're going at, that air doesn't just do nothing. That air goes down. Just like if you have a fan on, you will feel the air being pushed down on you. Right. And that's the same thing that's going right there is, and so as you move forward and the more success you have, you can definitely expect more negativity and more, well, we don't call it negativity. We just call it pushback.
Yeah.
So, you're growing, right? It's kind of like that other episode we did was growing pains, right? Not growing feel good, and you becoming that butterfly. So that's all part of the process. You're not going to get, just like a bird can't fly without expecting that wind to change directions as well. Yeah. Otherwise it would just fall like a rock.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be able to fly, right?
Yes. I can say you and I have had many experiences, like you were saying right now, we're going through it where, you're moving along, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't grow because, you don't want to just stand still. What is that? Whatever is not growing is dying.
Yeah, you're not supposed to go hide in a cave and just wait for it all to end.
Yeah.
Don't tiptoe to the grave, right? Oh, no. Cool. I avoided everything. Yay. I won. But I would definitely say that, everything we've talked about doesn't mean that you want to go looking for, for these trolls and these haters and things like that. You want to definitely limit them and remove them from your life, right?
Yeah.
The best you can. Now, obviously, if you work with somebody, and you got a cubicle next to them or something, and you're not the boss and you can't fire them, right? Then unfortunately you're gonna be in their proximity, more than likely it's not gonna last, hopefully if that kind of person, but you want to limit the amount of time and dealings with them. And, and I'll give you an example of something that, happened recently. I was on Facebook a few days ago, and there was like all this negativity going on, and it had to do with my business. And somebody was like even doing personal attacks against me and making comments and just like really negative stuff and just trying. They were just barking and kicking their little feet like a little toddler and just screaming, look at me, and just saying all kinds of bad stuff like a little child that didn't want to take its medicine or, didn't want to go to bed and want to just stay up late and play with their toys or watch cartoons.
Good thing I wasn't on there.
Yeah.
I would have defended my man.
Great. Then I would have had to deal with them and you. Come on.
I'm joking. I would not have gotten in the mix of that.
Yeah. So I chose to not accept that crappy gift from that person. And I looked at them as like the child stomping their feet, and I kind of felt bad for them in a way. And I did reply, but nothing was like an argument or a fight or anything like that. I think at one point somebody else even jumped in and started saying some negative stuff. And I just actually started typing in gibberish that made no sense. Like, and they even put on there like, I don't know if you meant to type that because it makes no sense. And I'm like, yes, I know. Thanks. So you can have some fun with it, and don't let it, and, of course I could have chose not to even reply, which I recommend, but, in some cases, sometimes you do need to reply in case there's other people as well. But again, don't feed into that negativity. And with Facebook, I mean, like I said, it's pretty easy. You can Google like how to block people on Facebook, things like that, how to filter people on Facebook. I mean, heck, even if you can't like unfriend somebody, like they're a family member and you don't want them like finding out you like unfriended them and blocked them, because when you block somebody, they can't find your profile anymore. And if they understand Facebook, then they're either going to think you deleted your Facebook account or you blocked them. And all they got to do is say like, to somebody else, that's a family member or friend, can you look up so-and-so and see if they still have a Facebook? And they're like, yeah, they do. I see it. Oh, they blocked me, and then you might be creating a whole nother set of problems. It just depends. But you can also block, like unfollow them, even if they're friends, and you won't see their newsfeed posts anymore. And you can also block, like if you're going to post something and you're going to be, let's say, talking about like plant-based living or yoga or meditation, and they're like anti all that stuff, and they always like give a smart ass comment or something, then you could just like, when you make that post, there's an option on there that says post to friends or, public except for so-and-so. And right. You can like type in those too. So there are, a lot of ways that you can block people so you won't see their stuff. And also emails. You can block their emails. I've blocked a few emails. I use Gmail. We use Gmail. If you use another service, I'm sure there's other things, but I love how Gmail allows me to filter. And you can look this up, like how do I filter emails? And you can have it do, a few things. One, you can have it automatically delete the emails so you don't ever have to look at them. And you won't even know they came in. They're automatically deleted from that person. You can send them to a folder that skips your inbox. And then, like I have a folder that says like jerks or something like that, don't look at. And I put them in there, and I might even have like a separate one for a name in that folder, a subfolder. They call them labels on Gmail, on a sub label, which is a folder. And then I'll put them in there, and then I can look at them when I want to. So if it's somebody that you still have to deal with, like in business or something like that, you can put them in there. And you can schedule negative time, right? So you can be like, okay, well, maybe you don't want to end on Friday with the negative time. So maybe negative time is negative Tuesday or negative Wednesday or negative Thursday, one of those days. And let's say, or if it's somebody that, you work with at a job or something, and you have to see their emails daily just in case, you can schedule them for like after like 4:00 or something, and just go, okay, 4:00 is negative Tim day, where I look at Tim's negativity, all his negative crap.
Now, if you know someone named Tim, they're going to think you're talking about them.
Yeah. No, fortunately, I don't really talk to anybody named Tim, really.
Okay.
So I'm not talking about any Tims. So if you think I am, I'm not. unless you're automatically being deleted, then maybe I am. And you're sending me messages. No, so that's another thing you could do as well, is you could put them in that label or folder where you don't look at their messages except for once a week or twice a week or 3 times a week or whatever. And you schedule that time for when you look at their stuff. I mean, there's also like Slide Dial, which we talked about last time, which is kind of cool app. And you can call somebody. Let's say you don't like talking to somebody. Well, you can call them through Slide Dial and put in their phone. It only works for cell phones though. So you have to call their cell phone and you got to call them back or something. You can just leave a message because it doesn't ring on their phone. So all it'll do is go straight to their voicemail, and they'll think that they just missed your phone call or something. And you can just be like, oh, sorry, Tim, I missed you. I know we're playing phone tag, but let me just go in and give you that information you were asking for. Blah, 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 blah. Here you go. Cool. All right, man. Email me if you need anything, and then you're done. And if they call you back again, then do that thing again and just keep doing that. So you don't have to ever talk to them. And so that's a great way. And then there's also like a iOS app and Android app for your iPhone and for Android. I think it's called Hiya, Hiya. And that actually helps reduce spam calls as well. And there's a way you can block. And I think even service providers like Verizon, AT&T, and other providers have their own ways as well as blocking phone numbers. So they either don't get in or they go to voicemail. So just, you can look into those and see like, oh, well, how can I like limit the negative and then schedule negative time, negative Tim day, you know?
Negative Tim day.
Yeah. No offense to Tims out there. I'm not talking about any particular Tim. Honestly, there's no Tim. Sorry. Sorry to all Tims. Just the name that came into my head. Right?
Yes. And, you know, I also wanted to share with you a little bit about kind of, you know, because I always think of things in terms of like, how can we utilize our yoga practice when in anything that we're dealing with, right?
Yep. For
and
sure.
I know that.
Well, that's huge. I do that in the mornings when I'm feeling that way.
Wait, what do you do in the morning?
Yoga and meditation. Like if I'm feeling negative or I'm feeling like I got a lot of haters on me and they're all over me and they're trying to bait me and get me to feed their little troll mouth, kicking their little baby feet. Then I go, you know what? Today I'm doing some yoga for this.
Yes.
For this particular thing. Because a lot of people don't know that. You can do certain types of, you know, like a Kriya, a yoga set specifically for that.
That's right.
For negativity.
Yeah. Yes. And because if we think of it like, and not to get all metaphysical on you, but truly everything in this world is energy, right? And when we're communicating, whether it be next to a person or through emails or social media with someone that is in a funk, you know, or angry or lashing out, well, we can actually take on some of their energy, some of their vibration. And when I'm talking about energy, I don't ever like to say good or bad because there is no good or bad energy. It's just different vibrations of energy. Some are lower, some are higher. And so you may be feeling someone's real like low vibration, you know, and kind of, you know, you're taking that on. And so what I love is that there is certain meditations, certain kriyas, you know, yoga asanas that you can do to actually protect your body, protect your energetic field from that type of energetic experience.
And there's more than just that. I mean, what I mean is it doesn't have to be only for that. So like if a Kriya is like, I mean, heck, you can do any kind of yoga or any kind of meditation and that will help.
Yes.
And then there are the particular ones that specifically for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so to go along with this, I'm going to be creating a video, so you'll see it on our website, that since we are talking specifically about communicating with people and trolls, I decided I'm going to make one that helps you to be able to communicate with people that are in, you know, maybe not in a good place themselves, and for you to be able to be protected and guard. You know, I wouldn't really say guarded, but definitely like protected. Yeah.
Yeah. And that'll be in the resources in rockstarinlife.com under this episode.
Yes.
And it'll also be in the yoga and meditation center, either one of those. Not sure which one it'll be in, but it'll be in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
So before we get into our Rockstar mission for today, is there anything else you wanted to talk about that?
No, that's it.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'm going to remind you to go to rockstarinlife.com, to links to the resources mentioned, this episode's transcript, download my free books, training, yoga, meditation, homeschooling advice, and so much more being added every single week. Go to rockstarinlife.com and join the Rockstar in Life revolution today.
Awesome.
Love it. All right. So today's Rockstar mission, it's going to be really simple, but it's also going to be a challenge.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because for some people, it's going to be really tough. They're going to be like, all that other stuff was easy. They give me some real challenge here. So first off, check out the resources for this episode, on rockstarinlife.com. And if you have any negative people or haters in your life, I want you to use one of the tools that I mentioned, whether it be block them or schedule negative time, or deal with them if you must, in some way. But remember that, they're a child and they're just kicking their feet and they don't want to take their medicine, right? So the next time you see something negative or someone trolls you and they're trying to get fed, right? Trying to feed their little troll mouth, right?
Yeah.
On social media or, in person, obviously in social media, delete them, block them, unfollow them. Don't feed them. Don't get into that, right? You can make like one thoughtful response of some sort, but don't continue to feed and don't get wrapped up into it. If you need to say what you need to say without, that energy, that negative energy charge and getting like angry or anything like that, then that's what you need to do. But it's not for that person. Whenever I'm replying to somebody, it's always either not even for me, it's for someone else, right? Because if somebody's like spreading something or something like that, I might just be like, look, we need to be a force for good, this and that, or maybe we need to be there for so-and-so. And I might post something like that, but it's not like you're wrong or anything like that. So be careful. I want you to really put a lot of thought and feeling into what your replies are or comments, without getting wrapped up. And if it happens to, spark something, then so be it and move on, and don't accept that negative, crappy gift of what did I call it? I was going to say whale poop, but it's not whale poop. Elephant poop. It's one of those big ones, right? Yeah. So avoid that, right? And each time you catch yourself doing this, or you don't catch yourself, but then you catch yourself after, I want you to take your journal. Okay. And I want you to, make a note and write about what you're proud of and celebrate that you caught yourself at some point, whether it be before or after that you commented or whatever you did, right? Pat yourself on your back, give yourself a high five, because that is awesome. You're on your way, and it's going to take practice, right? It's going to take time. It's not something that's going to just come to you. And if it does, then that's great.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, then so be it. It's part of your process. It's part of that, going from the caterpillar into the butterfly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And also another thing that you could do is, if you see a thread of conversation going on with, back in maybe like some arguments happening or heated discussion, maybe even like you were saying, maybe don't even post anything, but just stand back and kind of be an observer of what you notice, of what's going on. And, that can give you a different awareness of how this whole thing is playing out, of people, trolling and...
Well, it's like watching a bad movie.
Yeah.
A movie where, you're just like, oh, you shouldn't treat that person like that. It's a movie, right? Yeah. So you're not like emotionally invested. It might give you a feeling of some sort, but you're not going to you might even scream at the screen. I don't know, but it's not going to make a difference to that person because they can't hear you anyways.
Yes.
Right. So observe it like a movie and, make some notes in your own head.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Completely agree.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. All right. So guys, don't forget to get out there and be a rock star in your life.
And make the world your stage.
Thanks for listening to Rockstar in Life, your source for unleashing your inner rock star. For more tips, training, and free stuff, be sure to go to rockstarinlife.com and join the Rockstar in Life revolution today. Thanks again, and don't forget to make the world your stage.